On June 9th, 2012, Mogswamp began his greatest journey, the survival map in the Superflat world. More than 100 episodes later, absolutely everything has changed. YouTube's voice got deeper, his appearance changed, his hair grew longer, and of course, his world evolved a lot. That's a full decade of Minecraft. Truly insane. As usual, he started his map by collecting some resources like wool and wood. Then right after, he found a villager village and for now was able to settle there. Still in the village, our hero discovers key resources such as obsidian, apples and diamonds. Besides that, he was lucky enough to be born near a slime spawn point, which, since it's in a Superflat world, would help him a lot. In later episodes, using the village's lava sources, he built a nether portal by combining fire and water to make more obsidian. That got him sent to the nether early, by the 4th episode of the saga. On day 7, our warrior built a small cobblestone generator. He also built an iron golem farm to get more iron for future projects. He destroyed all the villages to create more space and clear the chunk, making mobs spawning easier. Curiously, there was still a list of things changing at that time. They would come in future updates like the desert and jungle temples and most notably redstone changes, pure nostalgia. His videos back then didn't have those features yet. Later on, Mog decided to open a giant circle in the middle of the map, which would support magnificent constructions. He also chose to surround his fortress with water, which, in the Superflat world, is something super easy to do since there are no hills or mountains. After a while, the YouTuber completes his massive aerial base, where he first builds a mob farm. 4 days later, an efficient monster generator was ready to provide resources from now until the end of the series. Mog chose to build a gigantic wall to close off the area and give the place a fortress-like feel. He needed hundreds of chests of stone bricks and, after several days, finally completed his greatest work yet. In this fortress, he built several floors, the first for storing resources, the second with a mob trap, and the third and final one. It would be a city that had absolutely everything our warrior needed, like his house and some farms. An efficient iron golem farm was also built. Our warrior worked tirelessly moving villages to his sky base, making steady progress. Mog had finished the second floor's 4 sections and built his super mob farm, quickly earning experience points. Also, our warrior was already well equipped with tools and armor, having a chest full of diamond items. By now, the Superflat world had large factories for cobblestone, iron, blaze rods, and over 60 emerald blocks. A massive fortress, farms, gardens, and more. Plus an interesting 2012 Minecraft fact, open casas con brown sujos e jobias wabandes. Previously, the enchantment table was more random because we couldn't predict which enchantment we'd receive. Often we spent a lot to get unwanted effects after over 4 months playing Minecraft. With most of the fortress nearly finished and mob farms running, our warrior chose to focus on decorating his map. He chose to wait for the 1.4 update on October 25, 2012, which added beacons, anvils, and decorative stairs. It's worth mentioning that his map contains a spider farm with a design created by Mog himself. Also, the Garden of Perros features plants named after many channel subscribers. The place also has giant mountains, created with both a cobblestone generator and by hand. He built several mountains by hand to add elevation and make his super flat world look more natural. Let's jump to 2013 and the second chapter of this journey, the golden age of the Superflat world. That's because at that time he was still a teenager in school, always available to play. He says he's getting used to the cameras and the Minecraft community. In addition, he was also starting to stream and getting familiar with the profession of being a YouTuber. An interesting fact is that in 2013 no one had thought to mine in the nether using beds, and it was likely our friend who invented it.
I was mining in the nether before when I did this, so I was very proud to come here.
On day 202, Mog started building a huge wither skeleton farm. However, it was all for nothing since after weeks trying to nerf the place, our hero failed as mobs kept spawning and disrupting the skeletons. After the wither was added in the 1.4 update, our warriors summoned it on a giant mountain to learn about and defeat it. This was the result.
Oh wow, he died. Ah, he's dead. What happened? We can kill it.
When a boss is newly released in Minecraft, it's really hard to kill it since people don't know the tricks or strategies yet. That also happened back then, making it hard to defeat the Wither boss. After a few attempts, he succeeded and obtained the Nether Stars and Beacons. Many things were accomplished in early 2013, such as building lava, stone, and wood farms, potato and carrot plantations, and decorating the fortress. Even a piston elevator, which wasn't the latest technology then. Another interesting fact is that during this period, the 1.6 update was about to arrive, bringing items like hoppers, carpets, and quartz. Now, it's day 429, actual days, which is already over a year. Playing Minecraft, Moggy started building a gigantic smelting factory. It will turn all cobblestones into smooth stones to build a huge Orangulan statue where villagers helping him through trades will receive enchanted diamond pickaxes and stay. That way he'll be able to get more quartz and consequently make redstone comparators to finally build the gigantic item sorter for the mob trap. A lot for our hero to do. In the Superflat world, resources are nearly impossible to get manually, making villager trades extremely valuable. That's why we're building this mega structure. Sometime later, he started building his super library, which would require visiting several villages to collect all the books that were there. Amid several massive structures, we can now glimpse part of the Orangulan statue he began.
There's the Orangulan statue.
As I mentioned before, that's where the villagers will be sheltered for future trades. By episode 50, the following buildings had already been completed. The 4 main buildings around his super tower, a gigantic mountain, a huge library, a storage room, a blaze farm, and the trading courtyard that is inside the giant monument. Insanely, he did all of this in just 50 episodes. This way, we can jump straight to 2014, or even better, the third part of this adventure. Mog had finished high school and was searching for a college, but he still became even more dedicated to the channel. During this time, he hit the impressive milestone of 1,000 subscribers. We don't always get the recognition we deserve. Finally, what seemed impossible was done. Our warrior decided to cover the cobblestone mountain with grass, and that way, the epic builds continued. After a few days of work, a semi-automatic super wheat farm was built for endless food. Here's the thing, it still works. Moreover, our warrior found himself needing to go out in search of passive mobs like pigs and sheep to generate self-sufficiency of resources in his base. And so the YouTuber finally brought some animals with him. While he was enchanting warriors, a horse finally appeared, a unique mob from the 1.6 update. And now let's also see how the cobblestone mountain was looking after being covered with grass. And now, let's move on to a new challenge, which will expand the standard of the series. This challenge will be called Salacia. Built entirely in the ocean, a massive structure was assembled, thousands of resources gathered, and the foundation completed. On it, we will have another statue. A few days after the project started, 20% of the construction and the monument was already finished. Our warrior took advantage of the momentum to upgrade both the mob farm and the wood farm, and clearly gain more resources faster. And that's how we get to 2015 and consequently to chapter 4 of this journey, the Dark Ages, which lasted until 2019. At that time, the channel was growing considerably, as was Mog's social life. However, the Superflat World projects were not neglected, and the most ambitious one, Salacia, was getting bigger and more monumental since a huge greenhouse was also built there. And a curious fact, in update 1.8 rabbits were added, however in the very next version 1.9 rabbits stopped appearing in Superflat worlds. And so unfortunately, due to lack of time, our dear Mog wasn't able to get any rabbits. Comment F, rabbits, for the sad loss. Between July 2016 and May 2017 our warrior played little, so the series was paused. However, when he returned, he upgraded his mob farms and built a huge bridge. And finally, he started and finished building his house, or rather, his mansion. After these achievements, Mog took another break, returning in February 2018. Upon his return, he created a list of goals to achieve, such as building slime, endermen, and chicken farms. Finished the super tunnel for passive mobs. The Salacia project also resumed. He began constructing a huge aerial ring over water piece by piece. He filled every space of the base with buckets of water and in 3 weeks managed to finish the project.
That's exactly what I expected. This is amazing.
The 5th chapter of this incredible journey begins in a rather unusual way. In 2020, Mog hadn't played for over 6 months after moving to Texas. Something was happening worldwide that would change humanity's fate, the quarantine. During that time, the series experienced a true rebirth after being abandoned. The game was at version 1.15 when our friend decided to give it a makeover. In most of the builds, he fixed farms, portals, structures, decorated buildings, and the Sea of Salacia. He discovered update changes, got new items, and finally started his huge chest organization system. In episode 90 of the journey, he chooses to create a prismarine farm and finish the pork and cow farms. He then chooses to build a super spiral staircase and demolish the old inefficient wood farm. A few episodes later, our warrior explores the Superflat world, discovers an ungenerated villager village, and finds a new series item, Beetroot. Until then, he didn't have it, so he multiplied it. By the 100th episode, he changed the super floating island from square to round. He will also bring this huge structure down to the ground, which will be very hard work. But remember that I said Mogsworld still didn't have any sugarcane? Yes, that's because of a generation bug. On day 2914 of the adventure, he obtained the item and used it to create his first maps to better view his constructions. He also built a mini farm for this resource to ensure he never ran out of paper again. Our warrior planned to redesign his world, beginning with the airbase and building massive biomes outside to recreate the world from scratch. Before that, there was the Minecraft 1.16 update, also called the Nether update. The YouTuber reset all his nether chunks because he disliked how the old ones were formed. Interestingly, just 8 years after creating his world, Mog visited the end. Since, as is known, the Superflat map has some bugs, including the one where strongholds don't generate. However, hoping to change this fact, our warrior created a new save with exactly the same seed and then copied and pasted the files from the already existing map. Only in 2020 was he able to visit the end and use its resources, such as shulker boxes and elytras. In Minecraft 1.16, Mog made a list of farms he wanted to build later. For example, Enderman, Chorus Fruit, Blaze, Wither, and Piglin farms. However, these goals would be accomplished over a long period of time and would take months to complete. Now, on day 3005 of the series, our warrior meets a trading villager, and with him, previously unused resources like sand, cacti, saplings, and blue ice. And 23 days after that event, the YouTuber decided to start his Enderman farm and continue building the super walls, which will extend from his sky base all the way down to the ground. It will have several layers, each resembling a different biome.
This thing will look amazing.
On day 3033, our warrior finishes decorating his cactus farm and begins the Piglin 1, which was new in Minecraft at the time. And just like that, after a few days, the project was already finished, providing regular and crying obsidian, special arrows, quartz, and everything else these mobs offer. Our hero also plans to expand and decorate the base's central building. He also began a massive bay project to surround Salacia Island, creating a sort of continent. In these places, he plans to build the tallest mountains on his map. For that, he left the pre-assembled structures to finish over time. Also, Mog created a mega circle under his spider farm in order to make a garden and a cathedral there.
Finally.
Around the island, he built a port with an extension of his fishing village, a structure that simulates a villager village. Besides these facts, he started and finished his glass mega wall with the purpose of enclosing Salacia and turning it into a kind of Atlantis. Now the last step is decorating the seafloor with corals, blocks, fish, and rocks. And that's how we go straight to chapter 6, The Unbelievable Journey. It started in 2020 and continues to this day. Episode 100 also serves as a saga recap. Was also where Mog finished the cathedral's interior, the super beach near Salacia, and began a massive nether hub. He cleared an area in the basalt delta biome and, despite being bothered by magma cubes, made great progress on the project. In addition, the YouTuber also created taverns that simulate more rustic buildings and started planning the potion stations. But for that, he needed various alchemical ingredients. And so, in episode 102, the flour, wheat, wither rose, and sea pickle farms were completed, which put the alchemy automation project well ahead. Returning to the nether project, our warrior wanted to expand the hub and realized he needed more nether bricks and fungi. So he turned the manual farm he had into an automatic one, making the production of these resources increase even more. The special Halloween episode was quite interesting because in it Mog made a cemetery, a witch's house, a forest, and a gallows to simulate the Middle Ages and create something more typical. To end the episode, he began building another gigantic structure to create a new continent. This creates a realistic bridge, food shop, and staircase connecting city parts in a medieval style. In episode 104, the moss farm was turned into a small brick kiln. In addition, a gigantic lighthouse was introduced out at sea near where the new mountains will be. With the 1.18 update, the world's top priority became building a mega port. And for that, our warrior decided to open up a huge space, even breaking bedrock. As the project progressed, Mog chose to go back to the nether to complete his hub. At that time, our hero hit 10,000 subscribers and made a special video. This project would be a mega building to cover and decorate the entire mob farm, which looked quite unpleasant. This project took more than 3 weeks to complete, becoming one of the most beautiful builds on the map. As the 10-year anniversary of the Superflat world approached, Mog made a to-do list for the commemorative video. In addition, he tore down most of the buildings at his airbase because, according to him, they looked rather outdated and spoiled the view of the city. At this point, the channel had many subscribers, triggering hardcore mode. With ongoing progress, more constructions were added, much like in Vinicius 13's map. Construction and development are ongoing. Now, in 2022, the saga marks its 10th anniversary. And of course, all the credits are in the description for this amazing foreigner who did an outstanding job. This map is definitely part of Minecraft's history, and moreover, it's part of Mog's history. Share your thoughts and your map stories in the comments.